But, the fact that I've been able to do this as long as I have and been successful in it without sponsorship is nothing but God.
Joining me for the interview, Miss Lana Hunter. She is one of the founders, right?
I am the founder.
The founder.
The founder.
Sundress
and Big Hat Brunch. Yep.
An event is going to be hosted here in Charlotte this week.
Right.
But been various cities over the Southeast.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Last weekend we were in Atlanta. Last Sunday we're in Atlanta. On the 24th we'll be in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
And in DC later this summer.
In DC. All right. So, and I'm glad you allowed me to do this. I want to do this for two reasons. One, because I'm in a video game, and there are a lot of videographers out there who want to seek to work with people like you who host events.
Absolutely.
And then there are people who seek to host events. Like they want to do event hosting. They want conferences and seminars and workshops.
Absolutely.
That's what they want to do. So I thought you would be the perfect person to get this information from.
Okay.
So why don't you first start out with telling me how, when and how did Sundress and Big Hat
Brunch?
I'm sorry. How did the Sundress and Big Hat Brunch start?
All right.
Where did it come from? How long have you been doing it?
All right. So the Sundress and Big Hat Brunch started 13 years ago. Actually, it started probably about 15 years ago. I used to do events at every holiday or at Christmas. I would host my girlfriends. We would go out in public and have brunch as a group, and then we started doing it at my house. And when we would be out, people were like, y'all having so much fun. I want to brunch with y'all. So one day I said, to the ladies, I said, we should do this. Let's do it and invite other women. They were like, okay, we'll support you. So we did the first one in 2009, 10, the first public-facing one. Had it at my church, and we had about 50 people. Most of the people were friends from the church and friends that we knew. And I was like, all right, that was fun. They were like, no, when are we doing this next year? I'm like, no, this was a one-time thing. We weren't doing this all the time. Here we are 13 years later, couple of cities later, and so forth. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's been a journey.
It has been a journey.
So when doing something like, you say you started in the church, is that, so obviously when you start hosting events and booking venues and things like that, you got to have some things in place, like as far as audience before you start.
You don't have to have an audience. You don't. See, that's the thing. People wait until they're ready. You're never going to be ready. You just step out. I didn't know who was going to show up. I invited my friends. I invited people from the church. And it wasn't supposed to be at the church. It happened to be at the church because the day before the event, when my photographer went to look at the lighting and stuff in the place, he gets there and finds out, no, somebody else was taking care of the booking for me and said it was good. I'd been to the location a couple of times and thought it was ready to go. They were like, no, we don't have anything on the books for you. So at the last minute, the day before, literally, I had to go to my church. It's like, hey, I need a venue. So we wound up being in the church. I had to rent tables and chairs and have friends come in and help me switch the church and make this a thing happen. So, but yeah, you never know who your audience is. You start building that because by year 7, I'd expanded outside of Raleigh. My first city I went to was Atlanta, outside of Raleigh. And I'm like, don't nobody know me in Atlanta? Who's going to show up? Blah, blah, blah. I went into a space, but God had told me in year 5, it was time for me to go somewhere else. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Took me 2 years to do it. We got it done. Went to Atlanta. I said, let me get a small space. I said, we need a room to do about 60, 70 people. The room could accommodate, I think, 100. We sold out in 2 days, 2 or 3 days, and we could have filled that room. In fact, we could have filled that room with even more, but we couldn't get anybody else in the room. We wound up with like 110 people in there. Fire marshal gonna shut us down. But we could have done even more, and people were like, is this real? How is it sold out already? Da-da-da-da. I didn't know anybody in Atlanta, but you build it and they'll come.
I like that.
Yeah.
So what's been most effective for you as far as promoting? Is it just word of mouth?
It's word of mouth.
Social
it's word
media?
of mouth.
Just word of mouth.
Word of mouth, and Facebook is my friend. You know, people say that Facebook and Instagram and all of that, and even email is dead. Email is not dead. I communicate to my audience and my tribe via email, on social media. I have a large base on Facebook. Instagram, I'm building up to that, but my audience is on Facebook. And I put the event out. People are inquiring all year long. When is it? What's the color? Because we do color themes and all of that. People want to know all of those things. So it's been social media, and it's worked for me. I ask people at the event all the time, how did you hear about it? Facebook. I was like, okay, or a friend shared it, or, so all of that.
Cool. Now, one of my questions was, do you rely on email? Because a lot of people.
Yeah,
a lot of people sleep on email.
Yeah, they sleep on email. You can sleep on email if you want. You know, the industry average is like, I think 25% open rate. I get 60, 65%. You know, I think once people know, once you have a tribe and an audience and they expect that from you, they're going to open it. They're expecting that. Because I don't want to read a whole bunch of junk emails. But if it's somebody I know, like, and trust, I'm going to open that email. I'm going to see what it says. So, yeah.
How often do you email?
I email once a month, a monthly, and closer to, like, we're in Charlotte. So Charlotte will probably get the city of Charlotte, and everyone that's bought a ticket that's been to the event before in Charlotte may get an email 2 to 3 times in that brunch month. But outside that, I don't want to inundate anybody with emails. Right. But I want to let you know all year I'm thinking about you. I want to let you know all year that, here's what's going on. Here's how to plan. Here's a positive message, a motivating message, inspiring message, hopefully. So.
Sponsors.
Hey, I'm looking for sponsors. I want sponsors. I haven't had any sponsorships yet, but we're open to that. But we want people that align to our brand, our value, and our vision without asking us to change. But, the fact that I've been able to do this as long as I have and been successful in it without sponsorship is nothing but God.
Yeah.
It's nothing but God.